Well, good afternoon, my friends, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman out here taking a break between deer hunts. This is the muzzleloader season for deer hunting here in Tennessee, and today is an absolutely glorious day. It's about 60 degrees, not much wind, the sun is out, not a cloud in the sky, just my kind of weather. Just fabulous, beautiful day to be outside. And in this video, I thought that between hunts, I'd come out here and make another video for you regarding these Ozark Trail folding knives. Now, if you're a hunter or a fisherman, camper, backpacker, or whatever, you know that knives play an important role in the activities that you pursue. So it's only fitting that I would feature a knife like this in my videos. And in that last video, we went to Walmart together to try to find this because I knew that they were coming out with this knife to follow up this one here, the orange Ozark Trail slide lock, the 7.5-inch D2 Classic, as I like to call it, that took the internet by storm. Now, in the last video, I briefly mentioned that I didn't think that they would make this knife available again. But wouldn't you know it, within just a few days of posting that video, I checked the website, and sure enough, they were back. So I ordered 3 of them. And I think they're probably not available right now, but I don't think that'll be the end of it, folks. I think they're going to be coming out with more of these. So keep checking the website and check your local stores because they could be back in stock at any time. You know, that's just the way things go sometimes. It's very unpredictable. Now, I've been carrying this knife for over 2 months now, and it's served me very well. You know, it holds an edge really well. For $10, I mean, that wasn't a bad deal at all. The blade is still just as solid. There's no wiggle at all. I feel no wiggling back and forth or up and down. It locks up tight. It still works very smoothly. It's held up well. Now, I've dropped it. I've accidentally stepped on it. Dropped it down in an engine compartment one time. I had to fish it out with a magnet. And the knife, I mean, it's holding together. It's got a few scratches on it, as you can see, you know, from where I've used it. And I've had it in my pocket being held by this clip. But it's held up so well that I think it's worth a lot more than what they're asking for. You know, if any other manufacturer like Kershaw or Buck or Benchmade or whatever were selling this knife, I guarantee you there'd be a higher price tag because it's just a very well constructed knife. This one here centers up perfectly. As you can see, the blade is perfectly centered still after all this time. I mean, it still operates very smoothly. It's just a great little knife, you know, very handy as an everyday carry or for the hunter, fisherman, or backpacker. You know, it makes a good outdoor knife. And the reason I thought they weren't going to be available anymore is because they released this knife right here. And I bought several of these. They were $5 a piece, so, you know, they're very affordable. And I was carrying this one here for a couple of days. It does not come out of the package as sharp as that orange knife does. But you can sharpen them and they'll hold an edge very well. Better than I expected, folks. So I sharpened this one. I took it to work, put it through the daily routine at my job, you know, just like the orange one. And then I came home and I skinned a deer that I harvested with this knife. Skinned the whole deer. Now, usually when I skin a deer, I'll bring a sharpener along because just about all the knives I've ever used, whether it's a case or a buck or whatever, you know, Kershaw, Boker, I've got a Boker skinning knife. I usually have to sharpen it once or twice before I'm done. This one here, I did not have to resharpen it, and I haven't sharpened it since. I carried it another day, and I brought it out here. I cleaned it up a little bit. It's got a little bit of grease on it, but I have not resharpened this knife. So let's see how sharp it still is. See if it holds an edge. Look at that. Yes, it's not quite as sharp as it was, but still Got quite a respectable edge on it. Well, good evening, my friends, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman out here getting ready to process this deer, and I just got done skinning it with this Ozark Trail slide lock knife. This is one of those little knives that you can get for $5 at your local Walmart. And I wanted to really try it out because if you're a big game hunter especially, doesn't matter, you could be a small game hunter too, but especially you big game hunters that skin deer and elk and other larger animals like that, you know that skinning a deer is really tough on a blade, okay? It'll dull one quicker than anything because deer have real fine sediment inside the hairs where they've been laying on the ground or whatever, but it really dulls an edge quick. And I always have to resharpen my knife at least once when I'm skinning a deer. That's why I bring this sharpener out here with me. I thought I was going to have to use it, but I just got done skinning this whole deer with this little $5 Ozark Trail knife. Now let me say before I go any further, I do not get paid by these people. I think enough of my viewers that if I see something that's well worth its money and is a good bargain, I try to share it with y'all. You know, and that's the reason I make these videos. But I sharpened this knife where it was razor sharp before I started on this deer. I mean, it went right through the hide like it was nobody's business. Let me clean it off here. I've got some fat and some hairs on this blade here. Get it wiped off here. And we're going to see if it retained an edge. I have not resharpened this knife since I started on this deer. So here we got some paper. And I'm going to start on the edge because I had a viewer say, don't stick the knife in from the middle. Start on the edge. That's the best way to test them. So here we go. Let's see if it'll actually still slice paper. Look at that. Still razor sharp. Cuts ribbons from the edge. I'm telling you, for $5, they put some good steel in these knives. And the action is great, you know. You pull down on the slide lock and you can open it, or you can use the thumb studs to open it. I mean, either way, great little knives for the money. And you know, for $5 you can pick up 3 or 4 of them, throw one in your truck or in your boat, take one to work with you, leave it at work, and keep one in your pocket. Now here's one that I sharpened. I took out of the package and sharpened myself. I keep this one on my desk for opening envelopes and for whittling on things, whatever I need. And this one's got a wicked edge on it. I mean, it's super sharp. So just to show you real quick, I mean, it slices nice thin little ribbons just like that. It is not D2 steel like the orange knife. Let me just do another quick test. I'll sacrifice some arm hair here. Now the hair on my arms is a little bit more coarse than most people, but if you look here, it's already trying to bite into the hair. I mean, I just barely moved that blade, as you saw, and it's shaving the hair right off my arm. There's a bare spot on my arm. Like I said, they get wicked sharp if you know how to sharpen one. Just real quickly, in case you're interested, they call this one here the Ozark Trail 7.5-inch silver shaft. There it is right there, folks. That's the listing on the knife, just in case you're interested. And if you can't find them in your Walmart, I would probably ask if you're interested in that. And you know, if you pick one up, one thing I can recommend once you get it is I would probably put a drop of oil on each side of the bearing here. And yes, the blade is also mounted on a bearing. I know because I took the blade out and I checked it out. They're not on bushings, they're not on washers, they're on bearings. That's why you get that kind of action. You know, I mean, you can see that's just as smooth and free-flowing as ever. And it was a little bit rough. You could kind of tell But once I put a drop of oil on each side and worked it a little bit, it smoothed right up. You know, say what you want about the knife. You know, if you don't want one, then don't get it. But if you want a pretty good knife for a real cheap price, I would recommend it. And let me just mention that in no way do I get paid to say that. They don't sponsor my channel. I'm not endorsed by Walmart or Ozark Trail. I just know that when I see a good deal, I want to share it with my viewers. And that's the reason I'm doing this, because I know a lot of you are interested. Now let's go ahead and open this package here. This one just arrived about an hour ago. Let's see what we got inside. So we'll go ahead and open this package. Well, I don't need to cut it open. It's got a flap right here. Yep, that's what I wanted. 3 brand new ones, folks. There they are. Brand new Ozark Trail knives. I'll put these away. I may even give some for Christmas. You never know. Now, I did hear through the grapevine that they were coming out with a different color option. You know, one in Ranger green or olive green or whatever, instead of this orange. Well, a few things I'd like to mention before I close out is there are some things that are different about this knife than this one. This one being the original, and this is the one I just got today. Obviously the color is a little different, but that can vary from one knife to the next, you know. But one of the main differences I see is that on the old knife here, here's your pocket carry clip. These are non-reversible. However, on the new knife, you can see here, you can remove this pocket clip by taking out those 2 screws. Make sure you keep up with those screws, and you can move it to the other side. So it is reversible. That's an upgrade for some people. To me, it doesn't matter because I carry mine in my right pocket, and these are already set for a right-handed person. They're still tip-up carry, and the new knife is reversible. Other than that, I don't see a whole lot of difference, but I'm going to go ahead and take this one out of the package, and I'm going to show you how to remove your knife out of the Ozark Trail package without damaging the package, in case you want to preserve it for some reason. You know, say you may want to return the knife or whatever, or you want to leave it in the original packaging after you check it out. You can remove these knives without cutting them or without tearing them open, if you want to, you know, if it matters to you. All you do is you can just grab the knife like this and then push up right here on the bottom of the packaging. It takes a little bit of doing, but now you can pull the knife right out. It scratched it right here just a little bit, not too bad, and that wouldn't be noticeable anyway, but it did not damage the package. You can repackage the knife and return it if you need to or whatever. Now we can take off the tip protector. It just slides right off. And we'll check out the action of this knife. Look at that. It's still just as smooth as it ever was. Only it has a reversible clip for those of you that are left-handed. Everything else is still pretty much the same. One thing I see different is right here, it's got D2 on the blade. That gives you a designation to tell you what type of steel they put in these knives. Now, I'm not sure if it's still as sharp as the originals were. We'll test it out here and see. Not bad. That's pretty sharp, folks. So, you know, still a pretty good knife. And this one here centers up perfectly. There you can see, blade centered up beautifully. This one has a nice bright orange color to it. I believe I'll hold on to this one. Like I mentioned in the original video where I featured this along with a few others, you know, if you accidentally drop this knife in the woods or on a hiking trail or whatever, you can go back, retrace your steps, and you should be able to find that, because that color will stand out quite readily, you know. Some of the other features that it shares with this knife are this slide lock or axis lock. They're not exactly the same. You can see where this one here has a little hole right here. It kind of gives you a little bit of extra traction to pull it down. But, you know, not much different. This one here has some jimping here on the back of the knife here at the base of the blade. Whereas this one here, it's a little bit more aggressive. And it has some additional traction right here at the heel of the handle, you know. So to me, this is still a better knife. It's more stable. It has those steel liners in it, just like the original. It doesn't flex. The inside of the liners has some reliefs cut out in it. I'm not sure if it's showing up here. It's still mounted on bearings on the pivot there. Honestly, still a great knife, you know. Whereas the newer version, or this newer model, I should say, more appropriately, it still has the great action, just like the orange knife, but it is a little bit flexible, a little bit more flexible. Not as flexible as even the Benchmade Bug Out. It's more flimsy right here. The polymer one is anyway. So this one here gives you a little more stability, in my opinion. And the clip is somewhat different. If you look here, the pocket clip is a little bit different styling. But you know, honestly speaking, as a work knife, I can't complain about either one of these two. And also for a knife in the outdoors, you know, especially for the money. I mean, if you lose it or you break it, you've lost $10 here. And this one here, if you lose it or break it, you lost $5. No big deal. Easily replaceable. It's not going to hurt near as bad as losing or breaking a $200 or $300 knife. And either one, I think you should be able to find if you drop it somewhere fairly readily. So let me go ahead and put this one back in the package. I'll return it just the way it came. There you can see, back in the package. And I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. One thing I should mention real quickly, if you need to resharpen them, I would get a good sharpening stick like this diamond stick. I've mentioned this before. This is a Kershaw diamond stick. They're about $25. Has a very fine surface on here where you can get a good razor sharp surface. But I go a step further. I constructed this steel right here out of a shock absorber, and I put a wooden handle on it. And I can get just a super keen, wickedly sharp edge. What this does is it polishes the edge down to a mirror brightness. Just like that. Just run it across that steel. It brings it down to a really fine point. And that's why you can shave paper effortlessly, just like that. And by doing this, once you get it down to a nice smooth, very sharp edge. All you're doing is you're bringing it down to a point like that. And then that point, you're polishing it with this steel. That's what gives you that razor edge. I do this with all my knives, broadheads, anything I need to have ultra sharp, you know. And that's the reason you can shave effortlessly like that. And it gets a wickedly sharp edge. So no matter which knife you choose, I like them both, folks. You're getting a lot of knife for the money, you know. And like I said, if you feel better about spending a lot of money and getting a different brand of knife, if you don't like something that's made in China, normally I don't endorse anything or try to promote anything that's made in China, but when I see a really good deal, a great product for a very low price, I want to share it with my viewers like you. So thanks a lot for coming along. I really appreciate you watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And until next time, remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, no matter what your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember, hit that like button, smash the bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until then, y'all take good care of yourselves. Get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. I'll be seeing you.